and after that there will be a common TV, which is camera recording around with you right from there, and it will be non-live. It will all be recorded, and you can ask questions as you want. So we will do it.
Lovely. Firstly, thank you everyone for coming in. I think it's really nice that all of you are physically here. Generally, we end up doing this virtually and not able to connect. A lot of people I've met in the past, a lot of new faces I can see. So again, thank you all of you for coming. Some big announcements we have, so we thought that in a new format we would like to do it. So should I start, Sonal?
Yes, sir. Sure.
I can start. Okay.
Embargo is there. It has not yet been filed with the exchanges. We'll give you a green signal the moment it is.
But we'll go live anyway. Yeah, but he'll be speaking, right? We'll go live with him, right? This is only for recording, right? That's what he mentioned.
So only for recording.
That's
Only
what
for
he
recording.
mentioned. She
Yes.
clarified that.
Oh, only for recording. Sorry, because it has not been filed with the exchanges. When you asked, we had not done the embargo release earlier. अभी नहीं जाएंगे live. We cannot go live because it is recorded. Are slated for 15th of May, so you can reserve your other generic questions for the media interaction after that.
A very good afternoon to the members of media, and thank you for taking time out for this press conference. As Sonal has already briefed you, we have invited you to this press conference to announce strategic decisions which have been approved by our board of directors today. We are announcing three major decisions today. These include organic and inorganic expansion plans of Jindal Stainless to the tune of 5,400 crores. With these acquisitions and investments, we have orchestrated a plan to become one of the largest stainless steel producers in the world. So first, we have entered into a collaboration agreement with a Singapore entity for setting up a stainless steel melt shop in Indonesia with a capacity of 1.2 million tons per annum. Our partner has ties with the Eternal Tsingshan Group, an expert in constructing and operating such facilities in its industrial park in Indonesia. Jindal Stainless will own 49% stake in this facility with an investment of more than rupees 700 crore, and this facility will become operational in about 2 years' time. This will take the total melt capacity of Jindal Stainless to 4.2 million tons per annum, up by 40% of our current capacity. We have also decided to invest rupees 1900 crores for enhancement of our downstream facilities in Jajpur, Odisha. These projects are aligned with the SMS facility in Indonesia and will become operational at the same time. We will also invest in improving and upgrading our overall infrastructure like roads, railway siding, sustainably related projects like renewable energy power generation, in tandem with the expansion plans. Nearly 1450 crore outlay has been earmarked for these associated expansion projects. Some of you may be aware that the world's largest stainless steel producer, the Tsingshan Group, has set up a 0.6 million tons per annum cold rolling mill in Gujarat by the name of Chromeni Steel. The project, however, could not sustain operations due to various reasons and has been closed post-COVID in 2022. We have acquired 54% stake in Chromeni Steels by buying Tsingshan's complete share. The transaction entails an outlay of rupees 1340 crores, comprising a takeover of existing debt of 1295 crores and balance of about rupees 45 crores towards equity purchase. Plant is located at Mundra, Gujarat. Chromeni is currently not operational, but we are looking forward to operationalize it in another 6 months' time. This acquisition aligns with our long-term vision of increasing the proportion of cold rolling products in our entire product mix. Taken together, this is the largest ever such outlay in more than a decade. It equips us to tap into the Indian stainless steel market, growing at the rate of 7 to 9% every year, both in the long and short run. I would like to explain certain rationales behind these decisions one by one. Investment in upstream facilities in Indonesia is a plug-and-play model and expected to be operational in 24 months, giving the existing industrial park facilities at site. The facility will come up at the Morivali Industrial Park, which has an integrated induction furnace, RKEF, and AOD stainless steel smelting facilities already. Since India does not have any indigenous source of nickel and availability of stainless steel scrap is limited, Indonesia is among the best alternate options to secure availability of our raw materials. Given the abundance in nickel ore in Indonesia and the expertise of our JV partner in manufacturing stainless steel through the nickel route, the deal secures raw material availability and production efficiency at the same time. The government of Indonesia heavily promotes FDI in downstream industry and in the last few years has banned the export of nickel ore. It also promotes such investments through tax holidays and rebates. Jindal Stainless will have 100% offtake right from this facility and reserves the first right of refusal. We are 49% partners in this JV with equivalent stake in profit sharing. The stainless steel slab and coils produced from this SMS steel melt shop in Indonesia can further be processed at our Jajpur complex. With the limited space available at our Jajpur plant and the option to procure melt material from Indonesia, we will use the land bank at Jajpur for cold rolling and further value addition, and also space for a green belt. Investments in downstream facilities and infrastructural improvements in Jajpur are being timed in tandem with the melt expansion happening in Indonesia. The acquisition of the majority stake in Chromeni will help us in climbing up the value chain in line with our overall product strategy of increasing our share in cold rolling. So with this I'd like to end the updates, and now I'd like to open the floor for any questions, and you can identify yourself also before asking if required. So how do we, Sonal, you want to moderate and take or?
So usually the questions come organically. Yeah, so
Sir, how much investment will you need to make to start the Chromeni steel plant?
So we are investment we have told you, and we are taking a figure of around 100 crores to restart Chromeni. We still have not entered the facility. We have studied the data room and we have discussed with all our partners. But once we enter, we will be able to give a much better, clear answer.
Currently, we have planned around 100 crore because we believe that because since this plant was operational initially, but it was closed last 3.5 years, so 100 crore investment we have earmarked that for this year, which
should be sufficient to restart operations.
Sir, will you be taking over more debt to fund these acquisitions? One you mentioned about 1295.
So that will be taking on their debt. That doesn't mean that we'll be raising debt.
But for other acquisitions, will you be raising more debt?
No.
Yeah. So let me just explain you. So the total investment is of 5,400 crore, which include the melt shop of 715 crore. The Chromeni which we will be acquiring, including the debt and the equity part, will be around 1340 crore. And then there is a 1900 crore of the brownfield expansion in Odisha on our downstream facility. Besides that, since we'll be reaching to a 3.2 million ton handling in Jajpur, we'll be augmenting our infrastructure, which is close to 905 crore. Then we are investing in some of the green hydrogen, zero liquid discharge, ESG and solar
To improve our ESG score and our carbon, reducing the carbon emissions.
That's around 245 crore. And then there are other capexes which are going on in the plant, which is close to 245 crore. So that makes up to 5,400 crore. If you recall, we guided the market and all the analysts in the last investor call that we'll be ending this year with the 4,800 crore of debt. With this new investment, 5,400 crore, it will be largely funded from internal accrual. This will be over 3 years. Obviously, it will be largely skewed towards first year because it involves 2 acquisitions also. So, with this, our debt is expected to increase only by 300 to 500 crore. So, with this, so we are not what we are saying. Our guidance for this year end was 4,800 crore, which will increase next year by around 300 to 500 crore. Considering taking over this entire 5,400 crore of spend, which to be spent over 3 years.
So it will be mostly through internal accruals.
How do you plan to pay back the 1295 crore? There must be a payment period as well for the debt that will you be paying back upfront, or will you be talking to the
This will be this as part of the acquisition. This will be paid upfront.
This acquisition in Gujarat, is it an export-centric move?
It is going to be, we are open. We can sell in the domestic market and we can export from that entity. So depending where we see demand and where we see good EBITDA, we can do it in both sides.
What is your current split between domestic and export?
So almost 85% is domestic and 10 to 15% is export.
And has that sustained the export number because the
So,
situation has been sensitive?
So it because our volume has also gone up, so I will say it has sustained. In the middle, when the export duty came, we did take a hit on that time, and that was the time when we were able to 100% supply in domestic market. We would always like to keep a ratio of 15% export and at least 80-85% domestic market. Always we want to maintain that.
I just wanted to inform that the embargo is now lifted and we can go ahead with the
So what is the timeline you are eyeing for this expansion project? What is the timeline?
So 2 years. So in 2 years we expect that the melt shop should come up in Indonesia. In the same time we want our downstream expansion to come up in Jajpur as well.
And mostly it will be through internal accruals.
Most through
and
internal
partly will be
accruals.
borrowing from the market side.
Very limited, like he said, but mostly you can say 90% will be through internal accruals.
The plant in Indonesia is already, you said it's set up.
No, so our partner has multiple JVs of this sort already set up in Indonesia. So all the facilities in terms of land, water, port, all your ancillary facilities are already there. That's why it's a very easy, simple plug and play model.
And the manpower you would be sending from India?
No, it is all going to be handled within locally in Indonesia.
So since you have seen the recession in Japan and UK, how does it impact your business, export business?
So see, we see very strong demand in domestic market, which is why almost 80-85% we are clearly selling within India. The markets that we sell to are Europe and US. And the kind of sectors we cater to are all your growth sectors, all performing well in the current scenario as well. And stainless steel, if you take as a metal, is actually the fastest growing metal in India and globally. So with recession, we don't see any concern because the kind of output and demand we foresee coming in stainless steel, that is the main reason why we are quickly setting up more capacity as well.
Has the European demand rebounded for the last 4 months?
Not to the same tune. There has been in certain pockets that we have seen a rebound. Not to the same tune or to our expectation, but it has started. Both in US and Europe, expectation was to happen maybe from Q4 of this year. But Q2 of this year we are seeing good orders. Q1 already we have seen, and Q2 further improvement we see coming in.
So you're seeing improvement in your export markets?
In our export markets, we are.
On the long-term tax holidays, what is this actually, if you could share with us? Means it's for how many, what is the 10 years, 20 years?
So normally for the downstream industry, the Indonesian government to attract the FDIs, particularly in the nickel-based industry, and in nickel-based, particularly the downstream, they are providing you around 7 years of tax holiday and another 2 years of 50%. So that kind of a scheme as of now they have for our kind of project what we are talking. So the schemes are different for different kind of investment, but for our kind, this kind of scheme is applicable.
And you were also talking about alternative fuel, so like the arc furnace. So what presently?
Not alternate fuel, alternate raw material.
Raw materials.
So in India, we are producing mainly through scrap route.
Yes.
And in Indonesia, it will be through the ore route. So that way we will have raw material security, we will be mitigating our risk also, that in case there is any shortage of one raw material, we can switch to the other. Yeah.
So like stainless steel all over the world, if we see around 35% to 40% of the stainless steel across the world is produced using this stainless steel scrap as a raw material, and around 60 to 65% is using the nickel pig iron, which is done by the China and Indonesia predominantly. So that is what we are saying, that now when we do this kind of a JV, so we get into a good position where we have our Indian facility where we can produce using the scrap as a raw material, whereas in Indonesia we'll be using NPI as a raw material. So that kind of advantage advantageous
What's the kind of
position.
competition you're means going to in the future, down 10 years? What competition? There will be a lot of steel magnates who would be getting into this industry because of nickel ore.
So
how you
no
will face-
competition. You're saying competition
means
from.
as you've set up a joint venture, there would be other industry people. So
See-
many groups, I'm not naming them. They will like
See, because that is a part and parcel of our everyday life. We're already facing it with all companies. We're competing globally. So more entrants coming in, it's going to be the same scenario. It's not going to change much. It will in fact help us growing more and more applications of stainless steel
Just to clarify, you said the melt shop in Indonesia is expected to come up within 2 years?
within
Yeah,
2 years.
that's right.
And sir, you said you were spending around rupees 1400 crore towards upgradation of your infrastructure projects. That also mentioned about renewable energy generation.
Correct.
Can you give some details about it?
Anurag?
So the out of this 900 crore is the infrastructure augmentation at our Jajpur Odisha facility. So if you recall, Odisha infrastructure was built more than 10 years back at when we started with 0.8 million tons. We are now reaching to 2.2, and with this another 1.2 we will be handling the material of 3.2 over there. So that infrastructure we are augmenting, which we are adding in up the railway line, raw material handling system. And then it's a renewable thing. What we announced, if you recall, that all the future expansion will be powered by the renewable energy, non-fossil fuel based fuel. So with that, I think we are investing in the solar project and as well as on the certain ESG projects also.
So it is other than the project related to green hydrogen.
This includes the
It's
green
part of
hydrogen
it.
related.
Zero liquid discharge, green hydrogen, solar, rooftop solar, water solar, separate solar land. There are a plethora of activities with regards to ESG that we're going to be doing.
You said Q1 demand has been, when you say Q1, you're referring to
Q1 export. Q1 export, we're seeing an uptick already.
April.
April onwards, yes. Q1 for us.
When you say pockets of Europe are witnessing good demand, so which pockets?
Mainly the markets that we cater to, which is Germany, Italy, France, Poland, Spain.
In terms of the geopolitical situation, I'm sorry if somebody already asked that, has there been any kind of major impact with the Red Sea crisis?
So definitely it's this common for all that our prices did go up, our shipping charges did go up and time went up. Other than that, there has been no other major impact. Just time and cost, which is common for everybody using that route.
What sort of increase have you seen in shipping charges?
I think it was around $50 per ton that we saw.
No, for Europe, they almost, I mean, from the lowest to the peak, it was almost 3 times they went. So, but now they are
Now it is
stable.
settled
Say
right now.
3 times went up over a period of
From the lowest means the lowest was almost 1.5 years before, and now after the Red Sea problem.
So how are the shipping prices now? Have they come back?
No.
No,
they're
they're still high,
still
but not
high.
as high they were at the highest peak.
Yeah.
So shipping charges are still elevated
Still
Yes,
elevated.
they are elevated.
Still elevated
because of the Red Sea crisis.
because of Red Sea.
So this investment plan goes for how many years?
So we see this for the.
fund it as?
So it is all through internal accrual that we are funding it. Very minimal debt raise we will be doing, and we see this having a good growth for us for the next 3 to 4 years. 3 years, definitely we see that.
Yes, go on.
Sir, I have a industry question. Like imports have been a very slow market. India has already become a net importer. What are the actions we have suggested or requesting to the
So the actions is always like quality control order is always a welcome step by the government, that actually good quality material is coming into India. Our consumers, our people are consuming the right grade of stainless steel, and not only stainless steel, any other item that is coming into India. So that is one step that we are working very closely with the government to protect our borders. Then always there's a talk on anti-dumping. There is clear severe dumping that is happening, so we do need to protect the MSMEs. They are the ones who are suffering the most. They are the ones who are not able to compete with global companies, compete with Chinese companies. So that is required. Mr. Kulbe, you can also add.
You're saying the stainless steel dumping happening from China?
Mainly from China.
Mainly from China. Yeah, and definitely on BIS, the government is doing a good job, we can
Yes.
say, and not only direct stainless steel product, even the, as Mr. Jindal said, the various components or items, they on them also BIS
What kind
has
of
come.
assurance the government is giving? We heard some industry leaders saying that the situation is to be watchful, we need to be watchful. So, what kind of assurance?
See,
we
the
are
assurance that I can say, what the government is not outrightly giving any assurance, but they are doing a lot of steps to increase the demand in the country, which is a very welcome step. They are creating enough opportunities, enough avenues of growth in the country where there's enough for us and any other player to actually come and cater to. So that is the kind of effort and credit I would like to give the government, because they're spending in the right areas, they're increasing infrastructure, they're bringing down the logistic cost with your National Gati Shakti plan, National Logistic Policy, Gati Shakti plan that they have. So all these are very welcome steps which will make us competitive in India and globally as well. Same for companies like us, same for MSMEs, and if they create demand, that will get us, companies like us, to invest more, which is what we're doing.
they are creating demand and creating opportunities which is being taken up by the imports. That is what.
So, which is why, that's why these steps like your national logistic policy will help. Like we always say that logistic cost outside India is 7 to 8%, but for us it's close to 15-16%. If they're able to bring it down to that 7-8%, then everyone's competitiveness increases. Port efficiency you improve, everyone is benefited. Road you improve, faster delivery, faster movement of goods, everyone benefits. More railway connectivity, it's a benefit to everyone in the whole country, big player, small player. So these are the levels that definitely government is taking a step on. Despite that, we still would like that some anti-dumping duty or CVD, where clear dumping or circumvention is happening, then protection is required. So it's going to be a two-pronged approach with the government.
So one more question, sir. You said that we are aiming to become one of the largest stainless steel. We are already one of the largest in the world. So is there some number one or number two?
We definitely would like to be number one. That is the vision. Any business that we get into, we would definitely like to be number one. But it is a journey, and that's why every few years we would like to increase and be part of the growth journey of India.
भारत में तो अभी आप नंबर 1 हैं।
Yes.
एक चीज और जानना था, हम लोगों को यही मंत्रालय के अधिकारी यही बताते हैं कि अब जो है एंटी डंपिंग खास करके स्टेनलेस स्टील में वो गुजरे जमाने की बात हो गई, और जब से क्वालिटी कंट्रोल ऑर्डर आया तब से बहुत सख्त हो गया। वो स्टील के बर्तन नहीं फटते, घरों में पहले फट जाते थे। तो क्या अभी आपने एंटी डंपिंग की बात की, क्या अभी भी एंटी डंपिंग हो रही है स्टेनलेस?
अभी भी डंपिंग हो रही है, अभी भी सिवियर डंपिंग हो रही है, एंड वो क्लियरली डेटा के थ्रू साबित भी किया गया है। DGTR ने 2 साल तक पूरा इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया, एंड उसके बाद दे केम अप विद दैट डंपिंग हो रही है, एंड डोमेस्टिक इंडस्ट्री डज नीड सम काइंड ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन।
वही चीन से ही,
चाइना से ही। और आप सही कह रहे हैं, गवर्नमेंट, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने फिर व्यू लिया कि डिस्पाइट दिस investigation, they do not want to put duty, but we will still not lose the fight, because it is something that is the domestic industry is requiring.
तो वो किसने है अभी?
But why are they saying
Road
this,
में
that
है।
they will not do the anti-dumping duties? Is that what the government is saying?
So they are not outrightly saying that, but if you go and study all anti-dumping duties or all in submissions that have happened by industry, there have been almost 80% that have been rejected. So I would be requesting the media to go and ask the government why they are opposed this, when companies are suffering, when there is clear investigation happening.
And DGTR is recommending.
DGTR, your
post-study.
own body is recommending for dumping, some duty to come, and they're rejecting it. So it's a very good point for media to take up actually. We will not stop our fight. From your side, we don't want to stop this because it is required by the domestic industry. So we will keep putting up the points, keep sharing the data. Then it is completely for the governments to take the view. Jindal Stainless as a company is not holding on to any duty for any projection or any plans of ours. Whatever commitment we give, duty comes or doesn't come, we will still cater to that.
Can you specify which product is dumped by China?
All, any grade of stainless steel you can take.
Any grade, man, flat and long, all products.
Long I will not comment on, flat I will like to comment on, yes.
And with this MSME sectors actually most of the MSMEs manufacturing have closed down or just operating at less than 50%. So it is required in any country's manufacturing ecosystem. This MSME manufacturing should also flourish. Then only the industry can grow. So I think it's required from the protecting this entire MSME manufacturing ecosystem.
Why MSME closing their unit?
Because they can't compete on the qualities, because see, we are still at a certain quality level, at a substandard quality, and the Chinese dumping, it will be difficult for them to.
They are using substandard quality raw material.
No, they are not. I'm saying that what comes into the country.
So, you already have a nickel facility in Indonesia. So, this new facility, will it be an expansion of that facility or is it a separate?
It's a separate that facility that we have. You're talking about the cold rolling facility.
Yes.
That is okay. Nickel pig
iron.
iron. Okay, that is a separate entity.
That will be a separate entity.
That will be a separate entity. This is a separate
You
entity.
will be using the.
We are open to both options. We can use nickel from there into our SMS facility. We can sell it in the market and buy from another facility also. So that depends on economics.
But because they are at two different locations, so for this stainless steel facility, we'll be buying, the JV will be buying and using it.
That's a sourcing agreement. Primary pig iron sourcing agreement.
For the NPI you're asking?
The previous one, yeah.
The first one that we did, it was not a sourcing agreement, it was just an investment into nickel pig iron and as a raw material security for us.
Who have you partnered with for the Indonesia JV? Who's your partner?
This is with
So we are having the JV with the Singapore based company. They in turn have tie up with the the Tsingshan group,
The Chinese.
the Chinese.
So because I'm covering steel after a long time, so I was reading news stories from October where it seemed you said that you want to exit Indonesia.
we have exited our cold rolling facility in Indonesia.
Do you think there's a change of market situation? Because
No, so see, there are two different things if you see. Cold rolling we set up to actually cater to the Indonesia growth story to sell to the downstream players. But same story as in India, China cold rolling has dominated Indonesian market. So it's becoming very hard for any downstream player in Indonesia to survive without Chinese material. So we were actually sending material from India into our unit in Indonesia, further doing value addition and selling it into the market. But there is the same situation what's happening here. We are not able to compete with China at the cold rolling front. So that's why we are closing that unit. But with our partners, we feel that we will be quite competitive through the nickel ore route in producing in Indonesia. That's why this is upstream, that was downstream. So downstream we have closed. We've gone for upstream because that's where all your ore is available now.
So can you tell us the name of your partners?
The Singapore entity, that will get you the name.
So what are your investment for reducing the carbon footprint strategies or the policies?
So this, see, we have actually spoken a lot about, and there's completely there on our website. You can go. We have a ESG report that we take out. Additionally, the new investments that we are making, like he mentioned, we're looking at zero liquid discharge. We are looking at renewable power, so solar rooftop, wind energy. We're looking at green hydrogen. One more thing?
Overall, you announced last time 700 crore of ESG.
Which is only going to increase. Yeah. So we made all these announcements. I think Sonal, it would be best to share our ESG announcements with them, because whatever we have announced, we can share.
And power also we announced that only
Yeah.
renewable.
No, any expansion of ours will not be backed by thermal power, will only be backed by renewable energy. That's why most of the outlay will be towards this.
There is one more challenge what I see is that substandard for stainless steel is there. So how do you see this challenge and
So that's why quality control order and BIS is the only way to tackle this, which government has initiated in a very big way, and we are working very closely with Steel Ministry also and Commerce Ministry also to make it more effective.
Yeah, so here we can appreciate the government is definitely taking a lot of steps. They are pretty sensitive about it, and they are trying to ensure that the proper quality of products are.
Yes, that's a very good step taken by them.
Material is being used for the products. Yeah.
You have decided to divest your entire stake in Jindal. What the rationale?
So if you see, we had a 26% stake in Jindal Coke. Coke oven is a highly polluting process, and as a Jindal stainless process in India, we are focused only on the scrap-based electric arc furnace-based process. So that was ESG related thing was first thing. Second is that coke oven is now largely used in stainless steel operations. So it has no synergies, not much synergies with our operation. So it was one of the related party transactions which we were reporting at that. So it's as a part of the overall group simplification structure which we announced, which we have been envisaging last 3 years. One was the larger merger of JSL and JSL, two listed entity. Acquiring the JUSL stake with Jindal United Steel, which was also part of our key manufacturing process, and third, divesting the stakes of the company which are not related to our manufacturing process. And in this process also we have also acquired a 35% partner stake in Spain, which is IBER. So it's all part of the group simplification strategies which we actually started our journey 3 years back. So with this now it's almost complete with all the structure.
If we don't have further questions, we can move on to the camera recording. Or
Yes, one last.
okay.
So in Gujarat, you are buying stake of Xinjiang, and in Indonesia, you are partnering with them through this Singapore company.
Somebody else, right?
Yes, we can move on with the recording.